Penn State number one is because it is a team that returns a large chunk of its roster last year that was already good enough to contend and push for a national championship appearance. And they did so in a game in which a receiver did not register a reception. Like that to me is one of the craziest stats.
Such a mind-blowing stat in a national semifinal that they had the ball with 2 minutes to go and a chance to win the freaking game. Like, it's mind-blowing.
Without a receiver catching a pass, which means that they were a well-built team. Their lines are always good. They never lose games. As much as you want to say Franklin is a choke artist in big games, they never lose games they shouldn't. They're very consistent, and that's a very hard thing to do because a lot of coaches.
When's the last time Penn State lost a game it shouldn't? Was the 9 overtime game against Illinois?
Maybe.
I think it was that one, which was a long time ago. It was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, 20?
It was 21.
21? Yeah, I can't believe it's 25 now. And on top of it, they addressed their number one weakness beautifully. And their number one weakness was at the receiver position, and that is a position that is supposed to be the hardest to supplement or repair or improve in the portal. Also,
now, I got some pushback with where I had Penn State. And I remember one particular emailer, and I'm sorry I don't have the name because it is someone in the audience, maybe even someone in the chat. So, but they emailed me with, "Are you sure Drew Allar's good?" And I was like, "But the Big Ten championship game." And then I went and looked at his game log from last year. Have you looked at his stats from the Big Ten championship game recently?
I remember the throw that he made across his body in the Big Ten championship game that looked like something that Patrick Mahomes would do.
It's beautiful.
But
beautiful.
I don't remember the actual stats. No.
20 of 39 for 226 yards, 3 TDs, and 2 picks. That's a 5.8 yards per attempt. 5.8 is poor. It's not even average. He didn't average more than 7 yards per attempt at any point over Penn State's last 5 games. Now, are we
going to explain why?
The receivers. This is the question. Was that him, or was that the receivers, or was it both?
If KJ Hamler was on the team, do you think those would have been his stats?
I don't think so.
They would have been able to hit deep balls against bad teams. Like it wouldn't. I'm not saying they would go light up Georgia tomorrow, but they wouldn't have been stagnant in the passing game. So like, here's the thing about Drew Allar. I don't think he stinks. I think that people think he stinks. And
there's definitely that group. I certainly don't think he stinks. I am still wondering if he's really good.
All I know is every single draft analyst has him as a top 5 pick for next year right now. Whether he plays into that or not remains to be seen, but I thought he was good enough last year, obviously, to put them on the doorstep of the national title game without any help from the receiving group. And if you want to say that he was aided by the running backs, guess what, guys? They're back. So like they're both.
Yeah.
So like, to me, if you have the best running back combination in college football, you have a quarterback that people believe will be a top 5 pick, whether or not you want to accept that or not, that's a fact. You have Luke Reynolds at tight end, who is not going to be nearly as good as Tyler Warren because no one is, but still is going to be a very proficient pass catcher, and I think he's going to blow people away this year. And then you add the 3 receivers that they brought in. Devontae Ross from Troy, who I believe was a leading receiver, and Kyron Hudson from USC, who was very explosive. And then Trevor Pena, the jewel of that, which is a productive innings eater, first down, stick mover.
And that's the part, like, this is where I think you're right, especially in the Trevor Pena part. Right, especially in the Trevor Pena part. Because there was a comment in the chat earlier about, but they still had Tyler Warren. One scary person can be managed by a really good defense, but 2 people who can get open and you're cooking. 3 people who can get open and you've really got problems if you're the defense. Like,
and I really do think
Ohio State runs out at you. Like, if they just had Jeremiah Smith last year, it would have been difficult to defend. But you combine Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, and Carnell Tate, and you can't do anything.
So, and I also think that there's a planet out there where the addition of explosive offensive playmakers who can get open and make things easier for him puts him in a position to have his best year yet. Like, if you are, we're going to talk about number 3, I'm assuming, in Clemson. Like, Cade Klubnik has had a huge turnaround. And like Drew Allar has the physical tools. And by the way, found himself as a runner in the second half of the last year. So I think their defense is going to be good. They did lose top 3 draft pick at defensive end and Abdul Carter. But again, you said they have denied that as Sutton. They've got Zakee Wheatley at safety, AJ Harris at corner, both running backs, Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. And they got, Anai White and a defensive end from Texas A&M in the portal. They got Owen Waffle from Michigan. Anytime you get a Michigan defensive lineman, you probably feel pretty good about that. And a safety from Alabama. Like they got guys coming in. They returned a lot and they supplemented their roster very well in the portal. So, like, do I think they're going to go win the national title? No. Right now, probably wouldn't be my prediction. But at the same time, I think they're going to be in the playoff and a team that could do it. And I think that and here's the other thing, too, when you're ranking teams in the offseason. I don't know, you have more self-control than me, but when On3 posts the graphic from the main account, do you go read what people are saying or do you ignore it?
I let it roll for several hours before I jump in.
Okay. I look. I don't always respond, but I look and I read. I read the comments. People know that about me. And like, there's a lot of people who just, my buddy Bill Landis just texted me. They have the best offensive line in the country, which you might push back on because you think Notre Dame does.
It's Notre Dame.
Penn State's going to be really good this year. Like, and I know that people
but it's not like I have Penn State at number 9 on that list. Like Penn State's a top 3 group probably.
Here's the thing that you'll have to acknowledge too, is I give 0 weight in the offseason, none at narrative. Okay. So if you are a person who is James Franklin can't win the big game, they're going to blow it. Just know that when I'm putting together my rankings, I give 0 thought into that. The same way I gave 0 thought 2 years ago when people said that Sarkisian never won 10 games in a season and I had Texas at number 2. They made the playoff that year. You want to know why? Because their roster is out in public information. You can look at they've got a lot of good players this year. And I think that Penn State, for the first time, in combination with the fact that the teams at the top aren't as deep as they used to be, and the fact that they might be deeper than they usually are, Penn State has risen to the top. So, will it play out that way? I don't know. Will James Franklin lose every top 5 matchup he has? I don't know. But guess what, Andy? It's my favorite line that I love to say on the show. Nothing happens for the first time until it happens. So, like, I don't know. Everybody wants to use last year as the metric for how we rank forward. I am constantly, everything I do, quarterback lists, projections, rankings, anything that has a list in the offseason is 1,000% aimed to project forward. I don't look back. I look at what a team has, and I look at what I think that team can do. And I think that Penn State can win the Big Ten this year. Fair enough?
Absolutely fair.